This Corner with John Ball is brought to you by KNEO 91.7 FM, The Word.
Good day to you, everybody out there in the 4 states listening to us right now. This is Luke Taylor. I'm filling in for John Ball today on From This Corner, and I really hate that he couldn't be here today because I know how much he loves the Laymen's League services that take place each year here in the Neosho area, and so we have brought someone out to talk about that today. His name is Bruce Mahr, and he is the secretary this year for the Laymen's League in Neosho. And Bruce, thanks for coming down to the studios to chat with us today.
I appreciate you having me.
So you've been involved with the Laymen's League for many years, and we'll talk about that later. But the Laymen's League services, maybe to start off, if people don't know what those are, tell us what they're all about.
Laymen's League this is actually the 76th year. It started with a group of men that wanted to, believe it or not, back at that time, they felt Christmas was getting too commercialized. And they wanted to bring back the real meaning of Christmas. And so they organized a morning service put on by the laymen of the church and invited all the men of the community. And that's what started this. Back in 1948, they had Peter Marshall actually came into town and had just massive crowds, and the message that he gave was just so wonderful, and that really grew this to what it is today.
Mm-hmm. Well, 76 years ago, I mean, it's been going for many, many years, and I'm sure a lot of people in the area know about it, but some people listening out there, they might not. A layman, so you said this is by the laymen. It's not the pastors and church people necessarily. I mean, it's not the
organizers of a church.
Exactly.
We're just, we're from different churches. We aren't affiliated with the church in the sense that we do anything with the sermons or anything. We come together, we put together the program, and we do go to different churches every year. So it's totally non-denominational, and it seems to work very well.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it, that it's not just one particular denomination that's doing this. We want all the churches in the area to come together.
Correct. Last year we had it at the Canopy, which is a newer church in town. This year we're having it at the Rocketine Church of Christ. Next year we'll be at Fellowship Baptist. And I believe the following year will be at St. Canaris Catholic. So it goes to the different churches. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes its way all over town, and that's awesome. So next week is actually going to be the Laymen's League services, December 12th through the 16th. Those start with a time of coffee, donuts, fellowship at 6 o'clock. And then the service itself starts right on the dot, I've heard, at 6:30. At
6:30, and just wanted to reiterate that is 6 o'clock in the morning. It is bright.
Right.
It is bright and early. And believe it or not, we have people showing up at 5:45 ready to go. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's we do try to start everything right on the dot at 6:30. That way, it's a half-hour program. And at 7 o'clock, people have to go to school, go to work, or whatever. It gets you out in time to go on with your day. And it really is a great way to start your day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks for mentioning AM, because I think I forgot to say that. And yeah, 6 a.m. if you want to show up for some fellowship time. And 6:30 each morning, the program itself is going to kick off. That's every day next week, December 12th through the 16th. Tell us about the format. What can people expect once this gets going at 6:30?
Well, we start off with an opening hymn. Then we go into prayer, and we have different laymen lead us in prayer, and then we have special music, and that again is someone that from a different church doing a special music piece for us. And then we have someone read scripture. And then we introduce the speaker. Someone comes in, introduces a speaker, and the speaker talks about what Christmas means to them. Every year, every day, it's the same thing, the same topic, what Christmas means to me. And it's really amazing. You know, you hear this every day, but it's so different. Each speaker has a different upbringing, different childhood. Parents taught them differently, families differently, and so the stories and the information that they give is just enlightening. And so anyway, the speaker talks, and we do have a closing hymn and a closing prayer, and again, those are by different laymen. So, and we do try to keep everything right at a half hour, like I said, so we can get out of there at 7:00.
And I like how you said every day is the same, and yet every day is different.
Right.
And Thursday is one special day on the calendar. It's the Youth Day. What does that mean?
Youth Day is where we have area youth do the prayer, do the special singing. We usually have a teacher as a speaker. So we get the youth involved in that. And traditionally, you do have parents bringing their kids, their sons, to the to Youth Day. But one thing I want to point out, that even though this is Youth Day and it's being, you know, all the kids are there, you can bring your sons every day. When I started coming, I brought my sons every day, every year. And when they're in town, they still like to go. So it's something that can be a really good tradition. And it's something that your sons or friends or whatever will really enjoy and get something out of, I believe.
Yeah, no, I certainly think so. So you mentioned some of the speakers a minute ago, but who are the speakers this time around?
This year we have, again, a different slate of speakers. You know, they're from different industries and different walks of life. We're starting off on Monday with Kyle Bridges. And then that's going to be followed by Philip Witt, Mark Preston, T. Helsel, and then Friday we're going to finish up with Chet Daniel.
Okay. And so that's who people can hear next week. Let me mention again, we're talking about the Laymen's League services in Neosho. It's something held every single year at Christmas time, held at a different church each year, but it's a great kind of interdenominational event that goes on all week long. It's going to be next week, December 12th through the 16th, and it's going to start at 6:30 in the morning. Starts at 6 if you want to come for some fellowship, but the service will start at 6:30 on the dot. They'll be out at pretty much right at 7 o'clock in the morning, so you have time to get to work and do whatever you need to do after that. And I'll mention this too real quick. Rocketdyne Church of Christ, that is going to be the host church this year. That's located at 1111 Rocketdyne Road here in Neosho. And so I think it'd be a great idea for people to come and check it out. And that's what I wanted to ask you about, Bruce, before we go today. If someone out there has never been to one of these services before, could you just encourage them to consider making it a part of their holiday tradition, and maybe even to bring someone else along? You know,
if you come to one, you know, I know it's hard to get up early in the morning, especially if it's snowing or whatever, but come to one. And I think the feeling that you will have when you leave, the next morning it's a little easier to get up. And you'll find yourself wanting to go every day of the week. And then when next year comes along, you're going to be looking forward to this week, because it's a great way to start the season. It really is. And it is open to any men in the community. Feel free to come. You're going to be welcomed. There's a great group of guys, great group of men. And depending on the day, we average anywhere from 50 to 100 men that show up to this. And we would love to have a big crowd.
Yeah. Well, hey, and that church at Rocketdyne has got room for plenty more too.
Yes,
so
they do.
We'd love for a lot of guys to get out there. Again, that's the Laymen's League services, and we've been talking today to Bruce Mahr. He's the secretary currently of the Laymen's League, and so that means he's one of the chief organizers. He started doing this a few years ago as being the secretary, but you've been involved with the Laymen's League for many, many years, isn't that right?
That is correct. I started coming probably around 1991, and around, I would guess, probably about 14 years ago, I became treasurer, and then when Roy Shaver passed away, he kind of handed it over to me as a secretary.
And so you've been involved for a large chunk of your life here with the Laymen's League services. You were telling me you bring your sons out to that too, and so I think it sounds like a great bonding experience and just a great experience period for younger people to come to.
It really is, and I find especially with the younger boys, the promise of a donut makes it easier to get up.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. So a lot of great advantages there if you can get your kids there, if you can come on your own. I'll mention, too, KNEO is going to be broadcasting the Laymen's League services, not live, but we will record them, and we're going to be sharing them with our audience every day at 2:15 p.m. And so during that week, we'll be also sharing those messages, but don't let that keep you from getting up and going to experience it yourself. I think you won't be disappointed. You'll enjoy it. You'll find it spiritually fulfilling. It'd be great to have that camaraderie and that time with those other people there who are also getting up to celebrate this time of year a little bit more. And so I encourage people to get out there to attend the Laymen's League services. That's going to be at 6:30 each morning at Rocketdyne Road, Church of Christ. That's 1111 Rocketdyne Road. Come for fellowship at 6. The service is at 6:30. You get out of there by 7, and a wonderful way to start your day. Bruce Mahr, thanks so much for coming out and sharing about that here at the KNEO studios.
Well, thank you for having me.
From This Corner with John Ball has been brought to you by KNEO 91.7 FM, The Word. You can watch this episode and many previous episodes of From This Corner on our YouTube channel, linked to our website at www.kneo.org.